on there should say live chat.
Yeah, I can see it here on.
It'll come. It'll come. There's probably nobody in there yet.
Yeah, there's already a chat up here.
Okay, you see some from the last show. You see from the
Yeah.
last show. Okay,
Ah, okay.
this
Yeah,
will
maybe
they'll
it's.
come in. Let me make sure that it connects, and I will tag you on Facebook. How's that?
Yeah,
I'll tag
perfect.
you so it'll go on your page. Let's see here. Edit post.
Edit post.
Jonas. Jonas. There you go. Oh, you're not showing up. How weird. Oh, I know why. Because of the spelling. I
Oh.
bet. No. Huh. That's weird. I can't get you up on Facebook.
Hmm.
How weird. Oh, wait. Let's go. There you are. There you
Oh,
are.
oh, I
It's
found you.
because of that, the two dots above the O.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Swedish letters.
All right. We got some people in here now. We got 17 people in here.
All right.
All right. Jonas Lindstrom. Is
Yeah.
that right? Jonas. Or how do you say Jonas in your dialect?
Yeah.
Jonas?
In well, in Swedish we simply say Jonas.
Jonas. Jonas.
Jonas. Jonas.
Jonas. Jonas.
Yeah.
Jonas. Jonas Lindstrom.
Yeah.
Jonas Lindstrom. Okay. I just learned how to speak Swedish.
Yay.
Well,
That's good.
we have a mutual friend that had a show last year on the Soldier Network. I hope she comes back this year. We haven't contacted everybody. We're just starting to contact them to bring the other ones back and bring new people on to do shows.
Hmm.
But more about that later. But
Hmm.
anyway, I watched you on. I think you did two shows, didn't you, last year?
Yeah. Yeah. I did. Yeah, I did too. That's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah. Um, yeah. So, how did you come to be where you are now? I mean, did you have a wake up experience, or
Yeah.
okay, you did.
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
Yeah, it was a wake up experience. It was in 2021, so it wasn't that long ago.
well,
And that was, yeah, it was very, it was like a overnight thing. It was an awakening that lasted throughout, yeah, from the morning when I got up and all the way uh to midnight.
wow. Did it
Yeah.
coincide with COVID? No, no, COVID was 2020, wasn't it? Okay.
Yeah, I think, yeah, COVID was still around. Yeah, it was.
But really, your wake up, it sounds like, didn't really have, well, it wasn't like obvious that it had something to do with that. It was an individual experience.
Yeah, yeah, it didn't have anything to do with COVID in that sense. It was more that my life had snowballed really, like from yeah, from very early on in my life, and just a negative spiral that was snowballing, and eventually everything just explodes. And I was actually I was actually contemplating my suicide. I was on the exit route, and all of the sudden things changed. Yeah,
What
really
happened?
changed. Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing was, I was so depressed and I had so much anxiety, and uh, I couldn't sleep, and I just got I had just left my a quite long relationship that wasn't good, and yeah, I really couldn't sleep at night, and I was really exhausted and tired, and depressed and anxiety and all kinds of things. And as I was planning my exit, which was harder than I thought it would be, because um, being an empath, it's not uh, like you just, yeah, I'm out of here, bye. I had to think about, like, yeah, what method, who's gonna find me, I don't want to leave a mess anywhere. It was like a lot of things all of a sudden uh, that I had to consider, and I didn't want to dull myself with drugs or alcohol. I needed like a clear mind because this was important, although it was very dark.
Yeah.
So the only thing I hadn't tried was to meditate. And I knew nothing about meditation at that time. The only thing I knew about meditation is that you sit with your leg crossed and you do absolutely nothing. And it's associated with mindfulness and calmness. So I thought, well, why not? So I started to meditate, and I stumbled across this meditation as I was doing a bit of research, and I saw one headline for a meditation that to me was very weird for being a meditation, because to me meditation was all about just relaxing and clear your mind and not thinking about anything. And I saw this headline like, warning, 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 do not do this meditation if you aren't fully prepared. This is very potent and possibly dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. And it was a kundalini meditation, and at the time I didn't know even what that was. And of course I went for that one because it had a very appealing title. And eventually I started to feel calmer, and I could sleep. But it even went as far as that I started, eventually I started to feel better, which was very weird. I didn't expect that. And then I had my awakening one day. It was in Sweden. We celebrate midsummer every in June every year. So it was June 25th. It was, and that was the day when I had my awakening. Yeah, and that was that was a trip, to say the least. I had since long before that I had stopped to I had really started to isolate myself, and I was not. I mean, as a musician, I even started stopped to do gigs because I was feeling so crappy that I was paranoid. I thought that everybody in the audience was like silently laughing at me, and I got like, uh, so I was kind of a loner.
Now, this was after many years as a musician.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I just got to throw this in there because I can
yeah,
totally
sure.
relate to what you just said. I think it has something to do not with only trying to express yourself artistically, but authentically and raw
Yeah.
now in every moment. So I'm not a musician. I mean, I played guitar for a few years, and
Mm,
I like to write. I would consider myself a songwriter, and so I started playing with Ty about a year and a half ago, and yeah, it's like because everything we do is spontaneous. We don't
yeah.
rehearse anything. Everything we've ever put out is just basically a rehearsal. And I write some words, and That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like everybody's going, "What the hell are you doing?" Like the most massive self doubt comes in, and it
Yeah.
takes you to this place where your heart's literally shaking,
Yeah.
and you just, I don't know how to explain it. I can only speak for myself. I shouldn't say you. Um, it takes you to a place where you cannot let go
Exactly.
other than by that device.
Mm.
You go to this place where the thought, the fear of what something external in whatever form has over you goes up
Mm.
against essentially your faith in yourself. And
Yeah.
then if you bring that, like, like between or without thought, you just instinctively let the conduit flow, something
Yeah.
happens. Some people start doing light language, some people channel, don't remember what they're
Yeah.
saying. And for me, it's like this blend of in a very physical way what we're all familiar with in the energetics, which is sound, vibration,
Yeah.
resonance, color, geometry, words, phrasing, timing, pauses. And it's like, wow, this is a metaphor for life.
Yeah. It is. It
Not
is.
to get you off your story, because I just realized how
Yeah.
deep you were, and still, and I can relate to this too, and I'm sure a lot of people here can too, even in the
Yeah.
last couple of years.
Yeah.
Because get me out of here is the same thing. Get me the
Yeah.
F out of here. So you were in that deep of a place, and what exactly happened?
Yeah. And yeah, we could also add that, and that's just weird how how things can snowball, because I had been before my depression like really snowballed. I had been like touring across Europe, uh, playing like big festivals. So it was nothing that had nothing to do with really with stage fright, or that I was doubting my talent, but it like when the mind takes over, it gets so distorted that I could, I mean, from have been playing like big festivals for thousands of people, I could be on a local little crappy
Right.
pub here in my town, and there was like 30 drunks in the audience, and I was like, they don't want me here, they think I
That's what
suck,
I'm
like,
talking about. See, but
yeah.
what I didn't tell you, I've probably done about 6,000 video productions, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it recently became an issue to where there's this point of being observed and being. And
Yeah.
it's like this clash. And it's like for me, you could say stepping through fear. That sounds
Yeah.
to me kind of cliche. It's more than that. It's like actually, I don't know, it's like a surrendering and letting
Mm.
go. I guess that's why I like freestyle, because it puts you on the spot, you know? It's kind of like
Yeah.
you and I just met we met before, but I mean, just
Yeah.
to say hello. You
Mm.
came on, you ready? Boom, push live.
Yeah.
It's that
Ta-da.
space, is what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. So
Yeah.
how did you come to what happened with the thought of suiciding as you were swimming in these deep waters of not just individual awareness but collective awareness?
Yeah. What happened was that, yeah, my awakening, that yeah, it started in the morning, and it was just weird, because this morning I felt just uh, I felt very good. I felt really relaxed, and that was not something that I was used to at that time. So it was kind of shocking. Like, how can I be so calm? And so, yeah, like I said, I had already. isolating myself from large gatherings and all that. And since this is a tradition in Sweden, Midsummer's Eve, it's often like people party a lot. And a friend of mine invited me to come over, and at first I felt like, no, I don't want to do that. But then I realized, yeah, he's a nice, calm guy. He doesn't drink alcohol, and there was just going to be a few people there, so it was a nice, calm gathering. So I felt, yeah, sure, I'll go there, and I did. And I think I didn't really, n- I couldn't really perceive what was happening uh, with me in the same way that others could, because I just felt a little better than usual. But my friend, he took me aside and said that there's something happened to you, or is something going on, because I don't really recognize you. And I mean that in a good way. It's just that you are normally so silent and withdrawn, and now you're like making conversations, and you're like different. And I was like,
Now,
well,
you
I
just
don't know.
saw him, and he kind of picked up on that right away, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, after a couple of hours, I was gonna leave. So my friend followed me to the car, and that's when things started to get a little weird, because everything started to look to me as if I had smoked the best marijuana in the world, or
I did some ayahuasca.
yeah, but I didn't take
All
anything.
reverence.
But I
Yeah.
saw like the branches of the trees, they were like, hello. And I looked at the
Yeah.
sky, and the sky was, and I said to my friend, like, wow, have you seen the sky? It's on fire. And he was like, yeah, right. Sure, sure. You're going home now? Yeah.
He probably thought you were tripping on LSD.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? And then I,
This is the real drug, man. This is what's
yeah,
happening throughout the world.
yeah, it really is. And then I took my car, and I was just gonna stop at a gas station before I went home, and it just escalated. So it went into more intense phase, and it went from being like smoking marijuana to like a really trippy LSD. I saw like colors everywhere, and
Wow.
when I got to the gas station, I saw the energy fields around everybody, and they were like green and pink and purple, and
Right, right.
I couldn't even look the cashier in her eyes, because she looked like a rainbow in the face. I was like, no, 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 thank you, thank you, thank you,
So
thank you, bye, 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 bye. And
it's
and then
it sounds like that you're correlating that with, in part, because I know everything leads up to it, but with
mm,
the Kundalini meditation, the first meditation you ever did, because
yeah,
that's how you. Okay, I got you.
and it was not just one meditation that I did once. I did it daily as prescripted. So it was not like a one time event. I meditated one time, and then it was I did it for I don't know how long, if it was like a few weeks or so. Uh, but then when I got home, I was really I was somewhere in between
So you
awake
drove.
and sleep. Yeah,
you drove.
yeah, and I was
Hang
really
on,
it
hang
was
on.
really
I got.
freaky.
Hang on, I got to ask you a question about the meditation. But
Yeah,
but you drove home like this.
yeah.
Okay, we're going to come back to that story. Um, I had a couple of Kundalini awakenings, like at 24, 23, 24.
Mm.
And I was doing a meditation when I went to bed at night. And that
Ah,
meditation had a certain breathing pattern. And I'm just asking because a lot of people, like you're 21, 2021, some people are before, some people are after. And the thing about a wake up is, you get all the information at once. Everybody's on the same place all of a sudden. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I'm asking these questions for people that might have an experience like yours.
yeah,
But did the meditation that you were doing, did it have a breathing pattern, like where they instructed you to how you inhale and exhale?
yeah. It had both a breathing pattern and visualization
Okay.
technique, as it often is with Kundalini. You would visualize this serpent coiled up in your pelvis area, and then you would visualize uh, and breathe at the same time. Visualize how that serpent arises around the spine and up. And I didn't understand that. I mean, as a human being at that time, I didn't. I thought like, what kind of bullshit am I doing? This doesn't make sense. I'm like playing with imaginary serpents in my pelvis. Come on,
that's it.
you really lost it now. I thought,
That's
but
I think that most of the men here can relate to that. That's that distorted masculine voice,
yeah,
the macho man voice. What are you
yeah,
doing? What are you doing, you idiot?
yeah. But it worked.
Yeah.
It really did. And yeah, like the last part of my awakening when I got home, I was just gonna go. I I I wasn't afraid, strangely, because before my awakening, I didn't really. I mean, I've had moments in my life where I have uh, the 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 spirit in me has tried to reach the surface, but this was not like in line with my uh, belief system at the time. So, but the only thing I was afraid of really was that it was a big holiday in Sweden, and I thought like if the cops are gonna if they pull me over now, they're gonna put me in jail for like driving under the influence.
Now they would have put you in the psych ward, bro.
Yeah, probably.
Where most of us have been.
Yeah, yeah. So when I got home, I just thought like I really need just I just want to go up to my bedroom and lay down and sleep this off, whatever it is. But just when I reached for the door, this voice just popped in my head, and that was that was a little freaky. It was a voice that just said like, "Go to the forest," and I couldn't. It was like so commanding uh, that I just couldn't resist it. So I walked out to the forest and I passed out. I completely blacked out. I don't know for how long, but it was morning when I woke up and everything felt strange. And I walked home, and when I got home and when saw my backyard, there was something that was different because I felt this presence everywhere. Before that, it had just been like the lawn was a lawn and the bushes, they were bushes and the trees were trees. But now it was like, it feels like they're eyeballing me. It feels like the trees are looking at me and the
Yeah.
bushes and it just felt like there's life everywhere. And that was a lot to take in, but that was the very first major difference
Well, that
that
was a
I
pretty big one. It happened in one day.
yeah. And then it everything happened so fast. It's just within the first weeks, it was like I discovered something new
Have
all the
you
time.
have you ever heard of what they call a walk in or a drop in, where a
No.
high okay, so and I may not do this justice. Feel free to make comments, anybody, but where as a soul in a body,
Mm,
um, from that perspective, you reach a point in your life where you have this kind of thing happen, and it's what they call a walk in, where a higher aspect of your soul. Some people would say it's
yeah.
even a different soul, but I would just say, a higher aspect of your soul drops in for the next part. And maybe a way to ask that question is, do you feel like there's a part of you, or what part of you, or how much of you that you are today began that day, came into your body that day? It sounds like something came in both internally and around you.
Yeah, I feel more like it has been there all the time, but but the distorted version of me, uh, completely caught up in the mind. Uh, it just couldn't come through. But all of that has been there all the time, like waiting to be discovered. That's the way I see it, because that also explains a lot of things that I have always considered to be weird things that I have always done throughout my entire life without really knowing why,
Yeah.
and things that I have never been able to talk about with anyone because I have never heard anyone say that they have had experiences like that. So that made me just feel like this is just something I do. I'm some kind of freak doing this stuff. And what I'm talking about is I've always. I mean, sometimes I could just walk out in the forest and just lie flat down on the ground and just fist the grass and the soil and touch it and feel it in my hands. And I could just stand by a tree and hold the tree and feel the energy of the tree. And I even gave names to certain trees. Yeah, from when I was a kid all the way up to my teens
Wow.
and stuff like that. And I was talking to the water when I went down to the lake, and I didn't understand why, because the water never spoke back. But I know that the water did speak back. It was just I couldn't perceive that with from the state that I was in back then. But all those things that I've done randomly every now and then,
Wow.
it makes sense in a way.
That, as you're talking about this, I'm seeing different scenes from my life, right?
Mm,
I didn't really formally get introduced to the trees until 2011, but it's been all about the trees and nature and so on since then. Um,
yeah.
but as you were talking, I was remembering like going to the lake when I was 15 years old, being in the water, talking to the water, and so on. And I'm wondering if this is really what's coming online, and what I might be chasing in these conversations is these moments that we all had.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, we all
absolutely.
had,
That.
and we think that we haven't remembered our lineage from star families or ancient
Mm,
lineage or Lemuria or Atlanta. We think we do.
yeah.
Maybe what we are remembering is that we're all experiencing the same damn thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Have you
agree.
have you written? Do you write, or what do you do? Somebody put that you play all these different instruments, but what do you do as a musician? I mean, what do you play? Different instruments? Do you write? Do you sing?
Yeah, I do. I do all of it. Really,
Oh,
I
cool, cool.
I am always had a easy way with music. So I play like drums, bass, guitar, piano,
Yeah.
and
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Yeah, I can see the bass back there, and I see the
yeah,
guitars, and see the drum.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe. How much time do you have? You have some time? How much time do you have?
Yeah, I got time. I got the entire week. So
Okay, cool. We could go 2, 3 hours, whatever we want to do.
yeah,
At any time, if you want to play some music, that's cool with me. Um, if you want
yeah,
to do something together or play some music and whatever, well, you know how it is. See what happens. But if you feel like you want to do that at any time, just let's go ahead.
yeah. Absolutely.
We can always come back to talking as well.
Yeah. I just wanna mention something that I thought was really beautiful that you posted a while back when you had been on a walk uh, at night and you saw this guy in a sleeping bag
Yeah.
and you approached him and he was like afraid at first like hey
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you gave him some money
Yeah.
and yeah I remember that story. I just it just got stuck in me. I thought it was really beautiful thing to do and a really beautiful perspective.
Well, that's powerful. I hadn't thought about that in a long time. That was in 2015 or
Mm,
14, 2014. I had I'd been on the streets a couple of years, and then I came off for I think about a year and a half, and that's when that happened. And one of the things I learned on the street was because I was out till most nights till 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning,
yeah,
and you meet a lot of people, and they're definitely you know figuratively and literally outcasts, you would say,
yeah.
from the norm. But what I found out was so many of them were like literally human angels. We think we're doing work for the collective. These people are doing work for the collective. These
Mm,
people are living the way they're living out of choice, out of allegiance to themselves, tending to themselves, uh, shadow work to themselves, so on and so on, dealing with the deepest traumas. And anyway, so it came, and that night, um, I went, I lived next to a cemetery, and I would walk
mm,
across the cemetery, buy a beer, go sit on the bank of this creek, and drink the beer and look at the stars and have a cigarette and smoke some
mm,
weed, whatever, and just connect, and chill at the end of the day. And I saw this. It looked like how the boxers hit the big bag. They call it the
mm,
heavy bag.
yeah.
It looked like a heavy bag hanging from the underpass. And I,
Ah.
and I said, "What the hell is that?" And so as I
Mm.
walked up, I realized that it was somebody that was sleeping in this type of sleeping bag where you zip it all the way. Like his head wasn't sticking out. He was just this, like taco.
Mm,
And so when I walked up, he said, he was scared. He was scared, but he was the kind of scared that would kill you. Like
yeah,
and I found out, after meeting him that he was Iraqi war.
yeah.
Yeah,
Post
Iraqi
traumatic
war.
stress.
Yeah, dude. And he was like,
Yeah.
and anyway, I shouldn't have went too long, but the summation of it all, which was really mind blowing, was um, I never spoken about this because this is like the kind of thing that you figure out that it's a gift to you, right?
Mm,
Uh, because of what he had experienced in Iraq and the PTSD and so on. And he had money coming from the government, not too much for
Mm.
disability, whatever the case was. 5 6 years on the streets by choice, and basically every moment that he was existing, he was in full awareness and presence of himself. Like
Mm.
I literally said, "Let me help you do this. Let me help you do that." I met him 2 or 3 times after that. Let me help you, get medical or whatever they was available for veterans. I just went home and did some research, and he was like,
Yeah.
"No, man, no, I'm good, man. I'm good just like this."
Mm.
It's crazy, bro. Crazy and crazy that you mentioned that, but I think you carry the same energy.
Yeah, that's why it resonates with me. And yeah, I just thought it was that is the yeah, that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and for me, it was like no shit. Uh, I think I had $40, you know,
Mm.
because I lived in a townhouse with my daughters. Their mother had passed. Uh, the death benefit from her mother from the government was just enough to pay the rent, and
Mm.
I had to hustle the food. I didn't have a car, so I think when I saw him, I probably had $40, and I gave him 20.
Mm.
And then one night I came over there and we just sat by the creek and talked, man, for like 3 4 hours.
Mm. Yeah, that's beautiful.
It was a powerful thing. It was a powerful thing. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it really is.
Sometimes I think we're all beating at the same vibration. It just doesn't look that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm confident in that we that the way you acted and in that situation, that is a part of the original template that the vibration that we are all are in when originally when we're kids,
Yeah.
and then we're told that being a kid is something that is like a phase that that is associated with young age, and that is something that we outgrow. But yeah, I think we're not growing up from it. It feels like we're growing down from it. It's like that state, that mindset that you have as like we have as kids. That's who we are,
Right
and
on.
that's what we find back to again.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's so easy for yeah, for like you and me or anybody that got that vibration now. It's there's so much unnecessary energy that is not being spilled on, the personality thing, like, hi, what's your name, and uncomfortable silence, and like, where do you live, like, what have you done, trying to like go fishing and you know bring in information about the personality. It's just like, hi, my name is this, and hi, my name is this, you want to play, yeah, sure, let's go.
You want
And
to
then
go
it's like,
live? Boom. One,
yeah,
two, three.
yeah,
There's a familiarity to it. See.
yeah,
So, and going back to those days, not everybody, not everybody, because some of them, and no judgment, they were batshit crazy or
yeah.
dangerous or, many different things. But the people that were almost, I would say, and I will be the first to say, I talk to myself.
Yeah.
But the people that you would see driving down the road that would be talking to themselves. I'm not saying they're all, I'm just saying that I met a lot of people that I would use that description metaphorically,
Mm.
that they were very in tune with themselves. Now, their reality was their reality, but what I found in these people was just through what they exemplified that they were taking care of themselves. They
Yeah.
were they were alert to that. Most of them had some traumas. Probably some had, chemical imbalances, as we might say, from the human world. But yeah, that was really interesting. It was really, really interesting. Almost like, there were stories into the late 1800s of adepts that some English researchers and, professors or whatever went to. I believe it was Tibet. Okay,
Mm,
and they were like in villages on the mountain as you go up to wherever the Dalai Lama or whatever it was.
mm,
And there were adepts that came down from the mountain. They were purportedly 400 to 500 years old, and they would come down into the village without a plan, just knowing that everything that they needed would come to them, and vice
yeah,
versa. What they had to
yeah.
offer, yeah. So it was kind of like that. Some of these people had, like this, profound wisdom. And it wasn't always by the things they said, but sometimes it was.
Mm, yeah.
And I heard some great music too, man. Some of those people are just like genius level.
Yeah, I bet.
There's that one famous YouTube video from a few years ago where they had this homeless man sing, and then it went viral, and he like ended up raising like hundreds of thousands of dollars for him.
Ah,
Homeless.
yeah, yeah. I love the stories like that, and that is like we all have that power to basically manifest whatever life we want.
Yeah,
It's like nothing happens to us; it happens for us.
exactly. Bias.
Yeah,
It's bias.
and through us.
I know it's all of the above. It's like when you take a test in college and it's A, B, C, and D, and then E is all of the above.
Yeah,
But it is bias, and it is
yeah.
through us. And you know what I'm finding more and more every day. And again, um, I really liked working with Ty the last year and a half because it comes out. I don't want to say so much in the music, but it comes out in just coming together with someone or someone's, and just without a plan, just somebody
Mm.
pick up a guitar, somebody do this, somebody, and that really speaks to what I'm understanding is this is the way it operates in every moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I've just started to do Soul Speaks 5D again after a 2 or 3 month hiatus, and I'm not scheduling 6 weeks out like I used to. I'm scheduling like 3 days.
Yeah.
That's as far as I can see, and that's too far sometimes.
Yeah. I know that feeling. I feel that too. It's like the more you get in contact with yourself, and the more you ascend, and the more you feel that you are a part of everything with the universe and all, the more you sort of like find it difficult to frame things, like to schedule things, to
Mm.
you're like you just want to flow.
To define things,
Yeah.
to have to
Yeah.
know things,
Yeah.
to have to know things, you know, that's like this stuff's coming in so fast.
Yeah.
You don't have time to figure out what the hell you just got or what just happened. Sometimes you get to find out, sometimes you don't, but
Yeah.
because it's moving fast.
It's really fast.
Mm,
And the funny thing is that time per se, as we perceive it, linear time doesn't really
mm,
exist at all. So like people that think in terms like chasing time, I gotta say my time, uh, I would rephrase that to, instead of calling time, you could just call it a certain duration, which
yeah,
in turns equals experience, because that's what we fill our duration with. is experiences.
Yeah.
So yeah, for instance, if you have a job where you are paid by the hour, you get money for your time. It's not like you give up time because time doesn't really exist. It's more like you give up a fraction of possible experiences that you could
Yeah.
have enjoyed, that you have to like give away to do
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, there's this part of this that's happening where time literally is losing its influence.
Yeah.
It really is. And, at this point, the only thing that's r- truly, I believe this, the only thing that's pushing back, that's resistant to flow, isn't some external force. I don't buy any of these narratives of, I'm not, everything that we know about or don't, that anyone's thought of, it's reality.
Yeah.
But we're like at the ground floor of it. And so we're
Hmm.
like the most concentrated part of it. And if we're coming into more presence with ourselves, that's all that's going to be here is me and you and nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I feel like the biggest resistant, if that's the right way to put it, that sounds a bit is our, I don't know how you would put this, our lack of trust, lack of faith, uh, our level of belief or non-belief.
Hmm.
This all these cliches they had over the years, like it's an inside job, you got to go within.
Mm,
You
yeah.
know, it's getting it's getting real. They're not
Yeah.
cliches anymore.
No, there are definitely not cliches anymore. And you can see that yeah, it's happening so fast now, like you said. And the way we perceive time now, I think that goes for everyone that I know. Everybody feels that it feels like time is moving faster and faster, although there's really no time. But like uh yeah, what the way you perceive like a year 5 years ago is like it doesn't exist
dude,
today. It's
dude,
like a year is like a month.
it's March 11th. Okay, on January the 8th, I told my wife, I was like, you know what, this is the biggest month we've ever had, and you can combine all the months for 61 years,
Yeah.
and it was only the 8th of the month. But yeah, it really is it's a different place. It really is.
Yeah.
I think of a spin, right? Like a
Mm,
spin. And so the time is doing like on the face of a clock, but there's a spin that's us. So it's
yeah.
like you're going around in revolutions, and because the linear is doing that, it's almost like when they do the pictures of they take pictures, still pictures, and they run them all together, and you see them moving like kind of like that. They're kind of like moving just like that. It's
Yeah.
kind of like that. We're I don't know. We're doing both. It goes back to what you said earlier about we're doing it through us, for us, by us. It's
Yeah.
happening for all that stuff. It's like all of the above.
Yeah. And we're creators. That's what we are.
Yeah. Have you had? There's a lot of talk in these communities for the last 12 years um, about the feminine and the masculine and that whole
Yeah.
thing and so on. As an incarnated man, or even through your experience, have you felt anything in that department, feminine or masculine? I mean, like something change within yourself, regardless of everything out here, just like something you're feeling or tapping into?
Yeah, absolutely. In so many ways. Uh, First of all, the feminine and masculine energy is not per definition like man with a penis and woman with a vagina. But of course, women has got the feminine energy naturally, as well as men got the masculine. But we all need both, and we need
Right.
them balanced. And uh, I have been like very feminine in my interests all my life, and and I believe that is the feminine energy is the creative force
Yes.
to be creative, and the
Yeah.
masculine energy is like the action behind it.
Yes.
And I have always been like, I mean, given the circumstances that and the environment where I grew up, where that was like very divided, like women do women stuff and men do men stuff, and uh, growing up with people that are all interested in V8 cars and football games and drinking beer and all the men's stuff. And I've always been interested in like art and change the curtains in the kitchen to a nicer color, or decorations, and the kind of stuff that isn't like the typically male interest, at least not in the stereotypical 3D
Right.
society where I grew up. But then I really, when I met my partner, uh, it really, yeah, it really got balanced, the feminine and the masculine for both of us. It's like a twin soul, twin flame
Right on.
relationship. When everything just feels, yeah, this is it. We're like perfect on the scales together.
Hmm. Far out.
Yeah, it is.
You're making me think too, because if I look back at my corporate career,
Mm,
I was very masculine, architect, designer, got shit done. But my feminine part of me is what was the real talent, right? The
mm,
creativity, thinking outside of the corporate box, trying things, taking risk, uh, through that knowing of creativity when you're in the flow. And
mm,
then, I left the world and started this thing, doing this thing. And I find that my creative has been very dominant, my feminine. Like I can't even go to now that I'm talking to you, I'm getting this
mm.
perspective. I can't really
That's
even
good.
go into my masculine the way I could before, like structure,
Mm,
get it done. And I'm wondering about that as I'm talking to you right now, because that's how fast information's moving. And if
yeah.
maybe even within myself, those two will come together again or something. I don't know. But just the way you talk about it. And then I've been involved in just recently in these men's groups, which are very
Mm,
different. They're very different. They have to do with creativity, life force
yeah.
energy,
Hmm.
sacred sexuality, and therefore they have to do with sexual programming. It's both, right?
Mm,
Like, you know
yeah.
what I mean? What is impeding my creativity? What's impeding my free flow? Um, and so it's really interesting to see what I've seen so far in that you realize that the feminine in a typical male in body has been uh, I mean, there's certain things that they would be labeled that will be okay, but the vast majority of them is what I'm saying is you can't show your feminine side.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And I was going to ask you, now I'm having an echo. Uh, you just turned something
Mm.
on.
Wait a sec.
turn it off. Uh,
There we go.
no, but what I was going to ask you is, in the way that you grew up, did you get some backlash from men for being unlike them and hanging around the chicks or just having different interests?
Yeah, I felt like I mostly felt like a freak because I didn't really have anyone that was like me.
Right,
And since all the others around me were completely different, that just from my knowing, it led to the conclusion that there must be something wrong with me because this is not the way um, I'm supposed to be.
right.
Because when everybody, and that was like led me into the path where you try to become someone who you are not to fit in, because that's like was my perception of how you are supposed to be. So when I was sitting with you know, when you were like 17, 18, 19, and you were out with a bunch of guys and doing what guys do, like drinking beer and talk about this and that, and I could just drift away and look at the leaves in a tree, how they were like moving in the wind, and I was like mesmerized, like wow.
Hmm.
And I at first I was like, am I the only one seeing this? How can they not see the leaves in the trees, and how can they not like be mesmerized by it? How can they see the leaves in the trees and just not look at it? It's amazing. But that was the kind of stuff that I kept to myself because uh, yeah, I really felt that I can't talk about this because I'm the only one perceiving it the way I perceive it. And yeah, and that was just one example. It goes for a lot
Yeah.
of things.
Well, I think that's, the reason I'm bringing it up is because I think that's what we're going to see. Um, it wasn't something that was accepted, or it wasn't something you could do as a man with that
Yeah,
the gang, right? I mean, there was maybe one or two people I could think of in my younger years that I might could even have a discussion in that regard. Everything was about, because I could relate to what you were talking about, like looking at the leaves. Because I can remember many times listening to what was being talked about, just being like not into it at all. It's like the same
yeah,
old thing. It's just
yeah,
like this tape recorder or this
yeah.
record player that was stuck.
And then you get like when you realize now at least that men in particular that that has difficulties to express themselves emotionally, like many men, uh, yeah, like it is for many men. They always find a way around that. Uh, you know, although I had like childhood friends that I grew up with since I was a toddler,
Mm,
all the way up to yeah my 30s and my 40s, and I had people that had been in my life almost on a daily basis, but they would panic if I would say something like, "Hey, you know what? I just want to say that I think you're a really good friend." Oh, for fuck's sakes! Come on, yeah, enough of that shit. All right, yeah, moving on. Yeah, like, don't go
yeah,
there.
but I mean, but here's the thing, and I, of course, I've been in a relationship for going on 9 years, and so this is right there on the forefront of it. And I would give the example like this: women always say, "Why don't you open up to me and tell me how you feel?" And I realize, and I'm saying this not just from as an individual, but I feel like this is the kind of thing that's characteristic of what's happening collectively with the masculine energy, be it a male or a female. basically.
Mm.
And that would be, which I've actually instilled in my relationship, which has been, look, how can I tell you what I'm feeling and what's there if I don't even know yet?
Exactly.
I've got to find that out. And I think that that applies not just to the men informed, but the female informed,
Yeah.
because this is a equal part of us. It's a quadrant, an equal quadrant in us, whether you look at it as four pieces or two. And but I'm talking about the human male, the human masculine energy.
Yeah.
There's the etherical masculine energy. There's the human masculine energy, and then the same for the feminine. And I feel like that nobody knows that, because that part of us hasn't been allowed to come to the table here. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You couldn't
Yeah.
do it in the you couldn't do it in the man's world, the army, the government, the corporate world, business. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Art type of community or atmosphere or group or whatever, that would be a little more acceptable. But even there, you have a strong masculine. You know, because look at music;
Yeah.
it's mostly men. You look at everything, mostly men. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Look at uh, Tibetan Buddhism. Look at Catholicism. Look at all of it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that this is coming out, and I feel like the only way to actually get it
Mm.
after you've already started to make the journey within yourself is to have a conversation with another guy and
Yeah.
talk about it. You know what I mean? Uh, like, I'm not picking up a gun, and I'm not a pacifist. You know what I mean?
Mm.
If and I don't believe anything like that would happen. I don't see that's where the earth is. That's not where my reality is, that somebody would come and invade and try to shoot me. But if it did, who knows what I would do
Yeah. Yeah.
to protect
Exactly.
the mother, to protect the feminine, to protect life, or whatever you want to call
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good, nice perspective.
it. Yeah. And what about you? It seems like since, I want to say, all last year, COVID was 2020, 2021, 2022. It seems like over the course of last year and getting into this year, at least people I talk to, and even what I see on the news feed when a limited time I'm on Facebook, um, there's not a lot of concern with what's going on globally. It's seen as an energy or
Yeah.
something, right? It's more
Mm.
coming into the individual and those who we encounter, right?
Exactly. That's I share that perspective. I think that since all these incoming energies now that are really amping up, if you're not in full connection with yourself, which a lot of people are not, I mean, everybody can feel this. Everybody, no one can escape it. Energy always does the job, whether you want it or not. And it's just, it depends on your ability to read and interpret energies. And that's why I think many people are losing the global perspective, because it hits them on an individual level. It's like people start to be depressed. They start to feel like their relationship that has been, yeah, it's been decent. It's been nothing wrong with that, and all of a sudden it starts to break up at the seams. And I think like everybody got their own inner chaos,
Yeah.
and I don't believe that um, everybody understands that this is something that happens to everyone. It's not just you. It's a global phenomena that that no one can escape, and eventually we're all gonna be wide awake.
Yeah. True. It's bigger than global. it's,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's pretty big. But
yeah. It is.
yeah, what you said. and then understanding that it's a quantum thought reality.
Yeah.
And that I was thinking about this, because of Sology, because we've kind
Mm.
of had different shifts. We just kind of going into a different shift now. And
Mm.
there are people that have been a part of it and people that will be a part of it, people that have been and will come back, and this and all this stuff and all the dynamics involved as the collective experience is changing, paralleling the expansion of the awareness and consciousness.
Mm.
And I started to think about how in a group, just two will start to speak to each other about the energy of their room from their perception. Okay.
Mm.
And how that actually, even by thought, will affect that field of experience. Right.
Mm.
Uh, and that we're getting to a place now where and I think you mentioned something. I think you said something about a life review, not life review, but feeling what other people feel, like an empath when you were talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
But it's like we're getting to the point now where we realized it used to be, we had to train ourselves to say, you know what, I'm not going to talk. If I can't say something nice, I'm not going to say anything at all. Or I'm not going
Exactly.
to gossip about somebody. So, like, or I'm not going to be
Mm.
sarcastic. And now
Yeah.
we're getting to a point where we're actually understanding that what I think
Yeah.
is the root of it all. And so,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? So I see the, like, there is a conscious, there's still a conscious alignment through our actions and our thoughts and our words that keep this thing going. You know what I mean? It doesn't just do it by itself, but it does. And if, like you said, we can be sensitive to the symbology and the way it's what's
Yeah.
presented to us, we
Yeah.
we can. It's like instinct, basically, that we
Yeah.
had turned off, like natural, like nature.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think it's really good. You got a good point there. And I think it's what I feel is important is that, just like you said, like, uh, if I feel that I want to be sarcastic to this person, I choose not to.
Hmm.
That's a wise, conscious choice. But I think it's you should always keep keep the question going all the way down to the root. So instead of satisfying by making a conscious choice that no, I'm not going to be sarcastic, keep keep the next question would be, well, I'm not going to be sarcastic, I know that, but why?
Why was I
Why?
going to be? Why
Why?
was I going to?
Why? Yeah. Why do I feel like I want to be sarcastic in the first place?
Good
Where does
point.
that come from?
Good point.
And just and it's so much that you could realize and come to terms with, and deepening your understanding about basically everything, if you just keep asking questions about
Right.
everything. Just for instance, like people that still believe that believes in nothing, like there's no divinity, there's no god, there's no consciousness, everything is just flat and dead, and it is what it is, and we can do what we want on this earth. uh, if you just ask this question, like, who creates? Someone must create, because there's everything that, if there's no creation involved, nothing would evolve or move, because in order to move energy in the first place, being it in waveforms of thoughts or in particles as physical matter, there's some action that is required, because nothing is being created just randomly. Just look at a flower. We all know that flowers are is life. That's an intelligence. The flower just don't pop up without intelligence. That is an intelligence. So who creates the flower? Is the flower creating itself?
Mhm.
I mean, the flower must have there must be someone behind this flower. So either the flower is creating itself, then you could ask like, yeah, what's next? The soil, that the earth that it grows to into, is that just dead material? Because again, most people know that you will not find an intelligent life form in a non-intelligent environment. That simply just doesn't exist.
It-
So if you just throw out questions like that, it's almost like very hard not to, in the end, realize that, yeah, there must be some kind of intelligence behind
yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah. It's kind of like
Or
what you're talking about. Keep asking. That's in
yeah,
those cases. Like for example, you'll end up going, "Why do I say that? Why would I want to say that? Why would I say that? What is it about that person? Oh, because they represent this or they represent that." And we've gotten to such a point now, I would call it the no bullshit zone with ourselves, right? You
yeah,
go, okay, that person does this and I don't do that. I'm not like that. And then you're stuck because there's nowhere else to
yeah,
go because you have to go into oneness or a unified state and you can't just say it. You know what I mean? So this is the kind
exactly.
of mirrors and initiations that are being presented to us. And the great thing
Hmm.
is, it seems to be moving very, very fast, faster the tomorrow than it was the day before. Right? You know what I mean? Like faster today
Yeah,
than it was yesterday.
yeah,
Like it's just moving that fast. There's a
yeah.
certain fluidity to it, but at the same time, you talk of this. There has to be, and you're right. There's something bigger than all of us. And
Yeah,
somehow or another, we have a voice in that. And it all comes down
yeah,
to how we operate the individual cell or soul that we are, right? You know, it's weird. And so it's like
yeah.
it's happening. A lot of times I think, am I activating, was that an initiation or am I just simply becoming more sensitive to what's occurring that's bigger than us, in an alignment kind of way? Like I'm feeling the
Mm,
alignment. If you go back to when you woke
yeah.
up on 20 in 2021 that summer, look
Mm,
at all the things that have happened since then for you. Like through your
yeah,
story, like
it's
did you
yeah.
feel the alignment of your partner? Did you feel the alignment of going to the Kundalini thing? You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
you wouldn't continue, and you also mentioned something earlier in your story about basically what I've heard so many people come on this show and me myself, which is you you feel to do these things that don't make any sense at all. You
yeah.
know that part of it.
Yep.
That part of it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like you get in touch with yourself once you keep your garden clean, as the Buddhists often say. You got room, you got space enough to actually perceive things in a different way, and then you get in touch with the higher self, and all of a sudden you realize that stuff is being downloaded into you. It's not like you are thinking with your brain. Things are coming
Mm-hmm.
in.
Yes, exactly. We don't own anything. We don't possess anything. We're not the
Exactly.
originator of anything in a singular fashion.
Mm-mm.
You know,
Hmm.
that's a very important what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the level or the depth of questioning, Q&A, that inner
Yeah.
dialogue that each one of us are having, which is bringing us to a point of total humility, where literally, if we think about the things that we say, even if we say, and I'm guilty, those people aren't on it. Those people aren't tapped in. That in itself is superiority. That's
Mm.
saying that
Yeah.
I'm got some, you know what I mean? See, so I can't see the
Yeah.
other side of the yin and yang. They're looking at me, probably saying the same damn thing, and in the reality, the entire circle of the yin yang is the 0 point field.
Yeah. I mean, one can't exist without the other. Um, so yeah, that's a very wise perspective, I'd say.
Mm.
And I remember also that I think I saw a live that you did with someone, and you said it in a way that I don't know if it was my way of just my perception, or if it was that way, but it felt uh, as if you didn't really fully understand what you were doing, although you were doing it so beautifully. You talked about
Mm-hmm.
music, and you said something about, like, I'm not like a talented musician. Like, I play because it's fun, but when I play something, I can just think of, for instance,
Right.
Prince,
Right.
or an artist, and I just,
That's right.
yeah, tap into that,
Yeah.
and then it's just, yeah, and that's like, yeah, that's exactly, that's way to go.
That's it.
That's like tapping into energy, and you get it.
Yeah, you know what? That's a cool example, and you're right. I that for me is like I write every night, music every
Mm,
night. I write music, and it's like a journey. It's like I don't know. It's like the narrative of my life, I guess. Like always looking for something more aligned, more perfectly phrased, more perfectly said, more metaphoric. Just this whole thing. And then, yeah, you pull in. What's the difference between pulling in the consciousness of Prince or Ray Charles or Archangel
yeah.
Michael, and you pull it in? And I've had those, and I believe them, and I've
Yeah.
collaborated with, you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
that's the human story. The reality is, it's all the morpho genetic field, and we can all
Mm-hmm.
tap into. I can tap into you. You can tap into me. Many times on this show, we've had people come in and just this one sister from Australia. She came in. She's a jazz singer, accomplished
Mm.
professional jazz singer, um, Laura Mitchell, and
Mm.
she gave it up after 20 years of shows and albums and this and that, and she started playing. Not only did she start playing ukuleles, but her higher self told her don't tune them. So she
Mm.
was playing
Yeah.
ukuleles out of tune, basically. I said, let me see how it goes. And she did it. And then she did a song, and then I did a song with her. But those types of things is what I'm talking about. These things that are almost like without conscious thought, and like in between intuition and conscious thought, the space of
Yeah.
that, like the inside of the torus field. It's always moving. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
it's a powerful
Yeah.
thing. I've learned a lot about the spontaneous through art, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like you said, you can tap into anything. You can. I mean, energy is not bound by either space or time. You can tap into the energy of Beethoven. You can
Hmm.
tap into the energy of a sheet of paper, or a
Coffee cup.
what? Yeah. Or
It's all it's all the same
yeah.
thing. That's why I don't get
Yeah.
excited about AI. Oh, AI is running the man. We are AI. We're the original AI. you
Mm.
know, we said how are we going to do this? Well, let's create this little world over here, and this world over here, and this world over here, and
Yeah.
and the game, if you will, is to expand. the whole through the expansion of the part. You know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting you said about that woman with a ukulele that she was not told not to tune
Hmm.
them, just to play them the way it sounded, just like that's kind of cool. I have
Dude,
the
it
same thing.
sounded. She made it sound right. You know what I mean? And I've always
Yeah.
liked. Uh, I love music since I'm like 5 years old, but I've always liked music that was like a quarter off, and like in
Yeah.
sound and in rhythm. Like I don't
Yeah.
know if you know the band from the '60s.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
like
Of
the
course.
like that
Yeah.
stuff, like the way Dylan played with them. Where it's kind of like off a
Yeah.
little bit, and then you know what I mean. Just
Yeah.
like the mandolin and just stuff like that, and guitar.
It makes it sound and feel
Yeah,
organic and breathing,
yeah,
and not like
like
static.
primordial or primitive, even. You know.
Yeah. I have the same thing like that woman you told about, the ukulele. I have a few instruments that I never tune the way they're supposed to be tuned. I just tune them randomly, and then stuff just come out
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. I remember in Florida in 2020, I went to a drum circle,
Mm.
and it was inside of a place. It was like inside of this yoga place,
Mm-hmm.
and it was cool because there was like it wasn't all drums, and one chick did like spoken word, and then somebody brought a guitar out, and then somebody else brought a didge out. I think somebody
Mm.
had a native flute, and by the time it got
Mm.
around, it, everything that was being thrown in was like a total remix, right? Like it was like
Mm.
you never get a chance to do it right the first time. There's only a first time, and there's some value to that.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is the bulk of what I do, but as far as like the music and the artistic, say the music stuff, I would bet you I'm going to guess like say 200 collaborations. Uh, I would say 190 or one take. That was it. Take
Mm.
it or leave it. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's I don't know. It's more about the energy of the the synergy of the people involved, and that
Yeah.
element of not knowing, the spontaneous or whatever you want to call it, that really is a powerful thing.
Mm.
And I feel like that's something that is showing itself in our lives, all of our lives. You know,
Yeah. Definitely.
either that or this is where all the weirdos and the crazy people hang out, and the
Yeah.
rest of the world is
Yeah.
right, and we're absolutely out of our minds.
Yeah. Who knows? But yeah, I feel good about being a part of that crazy crew.
So where can people find you? How can they find you? Are you on? Are you?
Uh,
Do you have a website or Facebook?
yeah, I got my Facebook page,
Okay.
and I got a YouTube channel.
What's a
And
YouTube channel? Your name?
yeah, am I supposed to
Oh,
know
I don't know, man.
stuff
I
like
don't know.
that?
Well, they'll
Really?
go to your Facebook page and they'll find it.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, I'm looking at. Yeah, I think it's just
They
my
want you to
name.
play something, man. S- So weird,
Okay.
Isa. Good to see you. Hadn't seen you in a long time. Uh, Lindstrom, Lind.
I think if I'm gonna play something, I'm gonna see if I
Yeah,
can
turn your
turn.
stuff on. I'll turn my mic off.
Yeah. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. You're good.
Good. All right. Uh, yeah. How about this? One of the guitars that I mentioned that has got that is never tuned the way a guitar is supposed to be tuned. See if you can hear this.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Mm.
That was nice. I like that.
That was nice. I like
That's
that.
That was real nice. It sounded like
It sounded like
a bit Spanish
a bit Spanish.
guitar,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and yeah, I had a friend come
Yeah. I had a
over
friend come
here.
over here.
Oh, the first show I did out of
Oh, the
this
first show I
when I
did
got
out of this
back into
when
this
I got
place
back into this
uh,
place
in
Ah, all
December, and
right.
he had
in
a
December, and he had
he's
a
Lebanese and he
he's
plays
Lebanese and he
international. He
plays
plays Spanish music
international.
and
He
so
plays
on.
Spanish music and
And
so on.
he,
And
I had
he,
written something the night
I had written
before,
something the
and
night
I just said, "Hey,
before,
dude,
and I just said,
just
"Hey,
play
dude,
something,"
play
and
something."
it worked pretty good. It was
And it
cool,
worked
but it
pretty
was kind
good.
of a Spanish
But it was
flavor.
kind of a
He
Spanish
was
flavor.
thumping on the
He was
guitar,
thumping on the
boom,
guitar.
boom, boom, boom. It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
cool.
echoes back.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
the
because he
echoes
turned
back.
on this
Yeah,
thing.
that was because he turned on this thing. Yeah. What else have we got? Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, turn that thing.
Okay,
Are you going to
turn
play
that
something
thing.
else?
Are you going to play something
Or you
else?
want to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, let me turn this
Oh,
off.
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If it,
No.
no,
If you can hear it, can you hear
yeah, I
the?
just need to turn my.
Can you
I
hear
need
the
to turn my
piano?
mic off.
I need to turn my mic off. Mm. 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 All right.
That was dope as fuck. I
What?
said that was dope. That was dope, man.
Mm,
Yeah, that was cool. I like things that
thanks.
are original. You know, I like the way, and I like things that are original, and I like when there's a mix of different things, like with you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you just remix. I guess that's what we're all doing, right? Like Kuan Yin, Jesus, Buddha, Magdalene. We're taking all their
yeah,
stuff and remixing it.
yeah.
It's the same
Exactly,
thing. It's all the
exactly.
same damn thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. It was a pleasure.
It is.
Thanks for coming in and sharing space with us and honoring us with your presence. And
Thank
yeah, we'll
you.
have to get together again later in the year,
Yeah, of
see what's
course,
happening.
of course.
Best to you
Yeah.
and your partner and all your endeavors and your wonderful life and all of yours. And
Mm, thank you so much. You
all right,
too.
brother. I'll
All
see
right.
you the next time. You
Yeah.
guys can find Jonas on Facebook, and that'll tell you where to go on YouTube. And yeah,
Yeah.
see you the next time, brother. Take